Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah, moving forward today, inshallah, class number 27, we're going to finish our lesson number 11 from Medina book 2 and learn some new concepts, inshallah. So let's break into our class, inshallah. Before we go to the main lesson, so what we're going to do is we're going to just practice the mudari'. So if you want to tell huwa, so if you take any fa'al, say huwa yadhabu or yadrusu yaktubu. So huwa means yaktubu yadrusu. So in front of you, antum males will be yak taktubuna. You write taktubuna or tadhabuna tadrusuna. So antum will have ta as alamatu mudari'ah and waw will represent antum. Taktubuna tadhabuna. So huma will be yadhabani. So third person will have ya as alamatu mudari' and dual will have alif musanna as a fa'il. So yadhabani. Noon will be alamatu marfu'. So ana adhabu. Ana adhabu. Ana adrusu. So here single should be, here will have again same as anta, it will be tadhabu atadrusu. Here tadrusu. Huwa yadrusu, hiya tadrusu. So hunna will be yadrusna. Hunna will be yadrusna or yadhabna. So it will have ya and noon is the fa'il, it's a mabni. So anta, again anta will be tadrusu or tadhabu. So here and anta will be same. So depending on the situation, we will understand who is being addressed. So anti will be tadhabina, tadrusina. So ya will be the fa'il. So noon is the sign of marfu. Tadhabina, taktubina, ta'kulina. So antunna in front of us, all the females. So what will say? Taktubna or tadrusna, tadhabna. So that will be the pattern for the person. Antuma, both males will be tadhabani, tadhabani. Two females, third person will be again, even that will be tadhabani. So they both will be same, but depending on the situation, we will know who is being addressed. So hum will be yadhabuna, yadrusuna, yaktubuna. So this will be hum, third person male. And nahnu, nadhabu, nadrusu, naktubu. And antuma will be again tadhabani. So just to note that antuma male, huma females and antuma female will have the same verb. Depending on the what situation, we'll understand who's being addressed, inshallah. So how do we know in mudari' how which vowel sound should be given on the ayn kalima? So we know the babs, there are different babs. So whenever there is an dhamma on the ayn kalima, so that mudari' from that pattern will always have dhamma. Karuma yakrumu will always have dhamma. And so another clue is the bab sami'a, 95 to 99% of the time it will be yasma'u. The ayn kalima will have a fatha. Rakiba yarkabu, shariba yashrabu. So if you take most of the fi'ls in Madi, if it has kasra in the ayn kalima, and in mudari' it will have a fatha. But coming to the fatha on the ayn kalima, that can have any sign. So that we will know based on the practice. So for example, daraba yadribu, fataha yaftahu, nasara yansuru. So it can have both, all three, fatha, dhamma, kasra. So depending on our vocabulary, we will identify which pattern will be there in the mudari'ah, but these two will be easy. Karuma yakrumu will always be the same pattern. Sami'a yasma'u most of the time will have the same pattern. So moving forward to our lesson, inshallah. So we finished where Abdullah, he describes that where do you live, what do you study. So he says, Faisal asks Abdullah, and Abdullah replies, Amma ikhwati فكلهم يدرسون بالجامعة عيسى وهو أكبر مني يدرس في كلية الطب. As for my brothers, all of them they study in the university. Isa, he is bigger than me. أكبر مني يدرس, he studies في كلية الطب in medicine. وإبراهيم يدرس في كلية التجارة, he studies in the commerce, department of commerce. وإسحاق يدرس في كلية الآداب وإسماعيل يدرس في كلية العلوم. So Ishaq, he reads in studies in كلية in arts, and Ismail studies, he is studying or he studies in department of science. هؤلاء, and these three أصغر مني, they are smaller than me. وأما الأخوات, and as for, so we know أما, so whenever it comes the jawab, the khabar will have a fa, begins with fa. So وأما الأخوات فيدرسن في المدرسة المتوسطة, in the, they all are studying in the middle school. So زينب تدرس في السنة الأولى, she studies in first year. وسلمى تدرس في السنة الثانية وليلى تدرس في السنة الثالثة. So this is where we ended. So we're going to take this conversation forward, inshallah. So here Faisal asks, في أي مدرسة تدرس أخواتك. So he said, okay, they study in, so he is asking in which school tadrusu. So we need to understand here that tadrusu, huwa, and here the fa'il can be singular or plural. So here the fa'il akhawatu is the plural, but the fa'il will be singular because you don't have two fa'ils coming after the fa'il. So fi ayyi madrasin tadrusu akhawatuka. So akhawatu is your fa'il, wa huwa mudaf, and ka is your mudaf ilayhi. So Abdullah replies, يدرسن في مدرسة خالد بن وليد للبنات بمكة. So again what we have here, يدرسن is your fa'il, noon is the fa'il. So here noon represents hunna. So يدرسن, they all study or they are studying in madrasati is fi is harf jar, madrasati is some majrur, wa huwa mudaf, in the school of Khalidi. So Khalidi again is just mudaf ilayhi wa huwa mudaf Khalid ibni. So if you see here, there's a construction. Ibnu is the original word, and when it becomes majrur, it becomes ibni. And here the alif hamzatul wasl is completely dropped. So Khalid ibni means madrasa of Khalid, son of Al-Walid, son of Walid. Al-Walid is your mudaf ilayhi, final mudaf ilayhi. Mudaf ilayhi will always have a tanween, or it will have al, so we know that it is ending. There is no further chain of mudaf ilayhi. So yadrusna, they all study fi madrasati Khalid ibn al-Walid lil banat, for the girls, bi Makkata, in Makkah. So Faisal asks again, aina taskununa antum. So where do you all live? So the and waw represents antum. So here this antum again is for emphasis. So why do we have, already we got a fa'il here, waw, which represents antum, and what is this? This antum is for emphasis. So for example, if somebody says kaifa haluka, you say bi khairin walhamdulillah wa kaifa haluka anta. So it gives more emphasis, when you're using a pronoun again. So aina taskununa antum. So where do you all live? So Abdullah replies, ikhwati, my brothers. So ikhwati, my brothers, yaskununa. So they all live. So waw represents هم في مهاجعي. So what is مهاجعي? مهاجعي means hostel, university hostel. So مهاجعي الجامعة مضاف مضاف إليه. So university hostel. Amma, so we got amma again here, so it's as for, so we should look for the fa, which is attaches itself to the khabar. So amma ana, as for me, fa askunu, so I live. So fa askunu ma'a qaribin li. So qaribin li here means a relative. So qaribin li, so one of my relatives. That's what it means. I live among one of my relatives. Let's go forward. So Faisal says, Amutazawwijun anta ya Abdullahi. So are you married? So mutazawwij means married. So he's asking question, are you married? Amutazawwij anta ya Abdullahi. So we know ya, when it comes in front of mudaf ilayh, the mudaf will become mansub. Ya Abdullahi. So Abdullahi replies, La. Lastu bi mutazawwijin. So what do we got here? Lastu. So lastu, we know it is comes from the fi'l laisa. Laisa is min akhwatu kana. So it is a fi'l naqisun jamidun. So laisa is fi'l naqisun jamidun. So it will have ism and khabar. So we know ism laisa is marfu. So just remember alaysa Allahu bi ahkamil. So Allahu is marfu, the word, so that will help you to remember that the laisa will always have a ism mansub, sorry, ism marfu. So here tu is ism laisa, which is marfu. So lastu bi mutazawwijin. So we know khabar laisa is mansub, but when it comes with harf jar bi, it becomes majroor. So here says, I am not married. Ana lastu bi mutazawwijin. So that's your khabar laisa. So Faisal asks, Ma unwanuka. So unwan means address. So it says, Ma unwanuka is your mudaf ilayhi, mudaf mudaf. What is your address? So Abdullah says, Hadihi bitaqati. So this bitaqa means card. So this should not be confused with this b. This b is harf jar b, which and is a major. This is two words. So bitaqatu is one word. So it's part of one word. It's not. So here ya mutakallim makes it bitaqati, not the b. So this is my card. So this is my card. Like it's a visiting card. Fiha. So we know why it is ha, because it is muannas. In it is unwani. So see ya mutakallim. Unwanu is your khabar. Wahuwa mudaf in ya mutakallim mudaf ilayhi. So this is my card and in it is my address. So hadihi bitaqati fiha unwani. So Faisal says, Ashkuruka ya akhi. So Shakara, he thanked. Yashkuru, he thanks. And Yashkuru, tashkuru, ashkuru, nashkuru. So I thank. So Ashkuruka is your mudaf ilayhi. That's fa'il and sorry, ka is your fa'il. So ka is your fa'il. So I thank you, ya akhi, oh my brother. Ana masrurun. So what is masrurun means I'm happy. So I'm happy. Why I'm happy? Biliqaika. I'm happy to meet you. So liqa'un is your meeting. So liqa'i, why one kasra is because becoming mudaf and ka is your mudaf ilayhi. I'm happy to meet you. Ana sa'anzilu. So we are going to learn about this letter sa now. So sa'anzilu. Nazala means he gets down. Ana yanzilu means he gets down. So yanzilu, tanzilu, anzilu, nanzilu. Anzilu means I get down. So what is this sa? So he's telling ana sa'anzilu fil mahtatil qadimati. Means mahtatu means a station. Qadima means next. So I will get down in next station. So what is, so that's the fa'al. So what is this sa? Sa is called harful istiqbal. Istiqbal means the particle of futurity. That means that represents a future action. So we know a verb will have a present tense, past tense, and future tense. So this letter sa, it denotes that the action will be taken in future, not at present. So normally, uh, even without sa, the present tense from fa'al mudari' has a meaning of future. For example, if you say أنا أذهب إلى السوق في المساء, so I will go to the souk in evening. So he has not yet gone, so but here it means that he is going to do. So that's, it has a meaning of future tense. But if you use, if you just say أنا أذهب إلى السوق, so I am going. So it has both present tense, and in certain contexts it can have both future tense as well. But if you use sa, that means it only represents future. So there is no meaning of present tense. سأذهب, so I will go. إلى السوق في المساء. So sa with the فعل مضارع يفعل. Sa with فعل مضارع, that gives the meaning of future relative action. There's another particle for futurity which is called saufa, which we'll learn later inshallah. But here sa means it is definitely I will do it in future. So that's what it means. So let's give some examples inshallah. So you say سأكتب لك رسالة inshallah. See, سأكتب means sa is your harf al-istiqbal, aktubu means I. So I will write laka, to you. So what is it right? So risalata is your maf'ulun bihi. So we know jar majrur cannot be maf'ulun bihi. So risalata inshallah. So if Allah wills, I will write you a letter. So sayadhhabu abi, my father will go. So sa will give futurity, will. So my father will go ila makkata ghadan. So tomorrow he will go to Makkah tomorrow. So some more examples given by Dr. Abdul Rahim. Sayarji'ul mudiru ghadan. So the mudir will return. So al mudiru is your fa'il, fa'il, and harf al-istiqbal. So the mudir will return tomorrow. Sa'adhabu ila makkata ba'da usbu'in. So I will go to Makkah after a week. Usbu'in means week. Yawmin means date. Usbu, day. And usbu means week. Inshallah. So I will go to Makkah after a week. Inshallah. So here, whenever, if we are using sa as a Muslim, we should always use inshallah. It is a command from Allah. Allah says, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. And never ever say. So we're going to analyze this ayat later on inshallah. So what is the gravity of the, how does Allah commands, what is the power of this command inshallah. But to understand that Allah has given us a command that you should never say that I will do such and such a thing without saying inshallah. So as a futurative, anything what you say about future, we should always use inshallah. Inshallah. أذهب إلى الملعب كل مساء. So I go to playground every evening. سأذهب هذا المساء. I will go this evening إلى المكتبة. I will go this evening to library. متى يرجع. When does your father return? So here the thing to notice that when you use sa, you don't use sa to ask questions. So you don't say mata sayarji'u. So sa is only used when you're telling something, but you don't use sa when you're asking questions. So you use normal fa'il. So you say mata tarji'u, when will you return? Mata yarji'u, when does he return? When will he return? So here when mata is used, that gives a meaning of futurity. You're asking about future, but here sa is not used. Sa is only used So when you are making a statement, not on the questions, so thing to remember. So mata yarji'u abuka, when does your father return? Mim Baghdad ya Ali, from Baghdad ya Ali. So see, now he's giving a statement. Sayarji'u, so he will return. Bada usbu'in, so after a week. So let's go to our lesson now, inshallah. So Abdullah says, so he's telling that Sa'anzilu. So he said, I'm going to get down and fil mahtatil qadima. Faisal says, so Abdullah says, fi amanillah. So now we know fi is harf jar, amani is your ism majroor with kasra, wa huwa mudaf, and Allah, he is your mudaf ilayhi. So it is fi amanillahi. So I think most of the people, even I used to say amanullah, fi amanullah, but that's wrong. So now we know that it is fi amanillah. So that's the correct way. So in the protection of Allah, wa ilal liqa. So until I see you again, that's what it means here. Liqa means to meet. So so it says in the protection of Allah until we meet again. So whenever we meet. So as-sa'iqu. So what is sa'iqu? Means driver, a taxi or bus driver. You can say as-sa'iqu. So he's telling to Faisal. He's telling li Faisali. So هذا الباب, هذا is your mubtada, al-babu is your badal. So this door, هذا الباب للدخول يا سيدي النزول من هناك. So this bus is probably having two doors. So he's telling this door للدخول يا سيدي. So we're going to learn about this word in a moment now. Dukhul, what does it mean? It means entering. Ya Sayyidi means oh sir. Ya Sayyidi. An-nuzulu min hunaka. So getting down is from that side. So what is these nouns here? Dr. Abdul Rahim is introducing us to what is we called as Masdar. So dukhulun and an-nuzulu is Masdar. So what is Masdar? So we're going to learn now, inshallah. So Masdar, to understand Masdar, we should know that the fa'il, that is an action, will have three parts to it. So then any fa'il will have three parts to it. What are those parts? One part is a person who is doing the action and the time when it is done. For example, kasara means he broke. So we know he is the person who is doing, and we know kasara is madi, which means past tense, that action has been done in the past. So you have a kind of a tense attached to it. A word which has a tense attached to it is a fa'il. So we have studied this. So we have fa'il and fa'il. So this is what you have in a verb, and then you have an action, like breaking is the action. So what is masdar? So masdar is the action when without doer and the time. That's what is called a masdar. This only denotes an action. For example, in English, if you want to say he wrote, but we add a word ing to make it a masdar. That's writing, drinking, cleaning. So it denotes an action, but it doesn't say who is doing it or when it's been done. So it's called a verbal noun or a gerund in English, and in Arabic it is called as a masdar, or so in English we call it as a verbal noun. So for example, let's enter into this. So dakhala yadkhulu, dakhala means he entered, yadkhulu he enters, and dukhulun means entering. So this is how we translate. Dukhulun means entering. So masdar has got many patterns in Arabic. So how do you know which word is a masdar, which is a fa'il, and which is a madi? So we know this. We will learn about patterns as we go along. But in this lesson, we've been introduced to the only one pattern. So inshallah we'll learn one pattern at a time. So here you see dukhulun. So what will be the pattern here? It is fu'ulun. So there are many verbs will have the same pattern. So as we go along, we understand this is masdar. So the most common words what we use is sajada, yasjudu, sujudun. See, fu'ulun, sujudun means prostrating. Raka'a, ruku'un. The same pattern, fu'ulun. So jalasa, julusun. The same pattern. Kharaja, khurujun. Nazala, nuzulun. So these are the patterns which we need to know and remember as we go along. So let's move forward. So let's know this is verbal noun. It is how I tell to easy to remember that it is a verb, but it is a al-noun. Al-nounu means it is a noun. It is not a verb, which means it will have all the characteristic of a noun. It will decline, it will be marfu, mansub, majroor. It can take al, it can take tanween. So we know verb does not take al, does not take kasra, does not take tanween, but masdar, because it is al-noun, which is an ism, so it will take all the things. For example, we say ad-dukhulu. Say dukhulun is your masdar, but ad-dukhulu, when we put al, so we know get one vowel sign. So ad-dukhulu mamnu'un. The entering is prohibited. Entering is prohibited. Ar-ruku'u qabla sujudi. So the bowing is before prostrating. Ar-ruku'u. So both it can take say marfu and can be majroor. Qabla is your zarf and mudaf ilayhi. So kharajna. So we left. So this is got fa'il. Kharajna min al-fasli. We left from class. Qabla khurujil. Qabla khurujil mudarrisi. So before the leaving of the teacher. So here there should be wow here. It's a typo here. So kharajna, we left from class before the leaving the teacher left. So that's about verbal noun. Let's go back to the final sentence here, where the driver says that there are two doors, and it says so one of the doors is for entry and one of the four doors is for getting down. So you see, so Faisal was getting from the front door probably. So he said, "Hadal babu lid-dukhuli." This door is for entering. Oh sir, and nuzulu min hunaka. Getting down is from there. Hunaka is zarf. So this brings to end of our class 27. So inshallah, just remember what things we learned today about harf al-istiqbal and introduction to masdar. So inshallah we'll continue with some more new concepts in our next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.